Over the past couple years, I've heard "Have you seen blank?" so many times I wouldn't even be able to guess. I literally missed every big horror release. But the time has come for me to crawl to my cave and rejoin society. Allow me to dust myself off and introduce top 10 horror movies you better not have missed. This definitely doesn't happen very often anymore, but Hereditary actually scared the shit right out of me. Really gets the old anxiety going. Come with me, if you will, on a journey into Annie's life. Model maker by day, super unfortunate person by night. Annie's mother has just passed away and the fam isn't too choked up about it as she was a complicated woman. Bitch! Now that the funeral is over, all that is left is to pack up some old memories into boxes. Well, maybe Grandma isn't quite ready to move on to the afterlife just yet. Starting to feel a little overwhelmed, Annie decides to visit a support group where she reveals major mental health issues for her mother, father, and brother. Some of which seems to have been passed down to her youngest daughter, Charlie, who was always the closest with Grandma when she was still alive. A freak accident with Charlie sends the whole family into a tailspin and threatens to destroy whatever sanity they have left. This also really ramps up the paranormal activity, or is it just paranoia? Ghost or a sweater on a chair? It will be all Annie can do to close the door on the past and keep the dark secrets hidden forever. Chris Washington finds himself in love.
But that bubble is about to burst on a fateful drive through the perilous highways
of Get Out. This is for the one other person out there that hasn't seen this movie yet. Chris is on his way to meet the parents of his girlfriend, who neglected to tell him he's black, but she mentions how not racist they are just enough to have you super worried. Fortunately, the parents are huggers, and huggers can't be bad people, am I right? The best part of meeting the significant other's family has to be getting to hear all the stories of the dumb things they did from their siblings. And that's also when things start to get weird. Come on, wrestle me, bro! I don't think so. The biggest shock for Chris, though, is the house stuff. It's not just the whole rich white family with black servants thing. There's definitely something a little off with these two. Not to mention it is time for the yearly party where a bunch of rich white folks try and seem not racist by saying how much they like Tiger Woods and how black is currently in fashion. You know, normal party conversation. When the psychiatrist mother hypnotizes Chris to help him quit smoking, the only thing I was thinking is get out. Please just get out. Here's one for all the fans of the real-life surgery shows, The Autopsy of Jane Doe. There has been what appears to be a multiple homicide, but the sheriff is at a loss in the investigation. No signs of theft or forced entry. As a matter of fact, all the evidence shows the victims trying to get out. When a mysterious body turns up in the basement with no signs of trauma, it's time for the coroners to do their thing. This Jane Doe could be the answer to unraveling the whole case, so the father-son duo of Tommy and Austin get right on the autopsy. They quickly run into more questions than answers. Her eyes are clouded as if long dead. Ankles and wrists are completely shattered. Her tongue savagely removed. Phase 2 of the autopsy is opening up the body, and no, dead bodies don't usually start bleeding like that. And that's about when things go from mysterious to oh shit. After hearing a noise in the hallway, Austin heads out to investigate and finds absolutely nothing.
I think maybe we should get out of here.
One thing's for sure, you're not going anywhere.
Hey, you in the back, shut up! It's time to enter a quiet place. It is 89 days after the happening and no, plants aren't taking over, but whatever it was has the streets almost completely abandoned. Enter the Abbott family, who has survived by sticking together and, more importantly, being really, really quiet. Upside of the apocalypse has got to be everything is free. Unfortunately, they have a really young child, and as all parents know, younglings are the suck at quiet and understanding the gravity of the situation. No matter how good your survival skills are, one noise and it's game over. Fast forward a year and the Abbotts have themselves a safe space, a quiet place if you will. They are also facing the terrifying prospect of giving birth in a noiseless world. Sounds like the perfect time for some Monopoly, the only game in existence that has never led to any arguments.
You little...
Stop fighting!
Mom, that's not how you pry them apart.
I've been prying them apart since before you were born!
With the due date fast approaching, one can only wonder who's gonna fuck up and make even the smallest sound. Does it smell like fish in here to you? No, it's not the herring you ate for dinner last night. The smell is from the lure, overwhelming your senses. This is going to be a tough one to do. The lure is everything from an enchanting piece of art to a what the fuck is going on. Oh, and there's lots of nudity, so it's hard to find clips. Silver and Golden are ready to spend some time on land, and all they need is a helping hand. Fortunately for them, the people who found them are the house band for a strip club, and they are hot and can sing, which makes them a huge hit with the locals. And that is only half the show. Pour some water on them and the real fun begins. What started out as some fun on land turns dangerous for Silver when she falls in love with the bass player in the band. Just in case you aren't up on your old-timey mermaid lore, that can be really bad. Way more troubling though is Golden's barely harnessed, bloodthirsty nature. Everyone is a huge fan of tits and tails, but will the two mermaids' appetites doom them? Mandy is one of those films literally all my horror movie friends were telling me to see. Now I have, and you should too. Mandy lives in a secluded cabin in the woods and couldn't be happier. Sounds boring? Good, because her idyllic life is about to change. Unfortunately, she has just caught the eye of the crazed leader of the Children of the New Dawn, and he will stop at nothing to have her. That means going so far as to have his followers use the Horn of Abraxas. It doesn't summon dragons or biker demons from hell, which is still pretty damn bad. Mandy awakens in the clutches of the demented cultists who try to keep her drugged up and pliable. Except for one giant mistake on their part. Mandy's idyllic life was being spent with Nicolas Cage, and they left him alive. If you like drugs, take them before watching Mandy. If you don't like drugs, take them before watching Mandy. For those looking for a horror movie that will make you think, you gotta check out Annihilation. Lena's soldier husband has been missing in action for over a year and most people presume him dead. But she is having difficulty moving on, hanging on to that last thread of hope. And suddenly, Lena's prayers are answered when he walks through the door seemingly okay, if a little distant. Unfortunately, he's totally not okay at all and needs to be rushed to the hospital. On the way there, the authorities take Lena and her husband into custody. She awakens to find herself in Area X, a very ominous sounding base beside a phenomenon called the Shimmer. Man, who comes up with these names? Every expedition into the Shimmer so far has met with failure, but these ladies are hoping to change that. The only things they are missing are a soldier and a biologist, and fortunately, Miss Lena checks both boxes and she volunteers. Upon entering the Shimmer, the group finds the laws of nature no longer apply and their electronics are all but useless, as is pretty much always the case in horror movies. It will take a miracle to figure out what is causing this phenomenon and if it can be stopped. Up next, we have a Canadian flick looking to capitalize on the current 80s craze, Summer of '84. Conspiracy theorist Davy Armstrong sees through the thin veil of what the government doesn't want you to know. He knows that with constant vigilance, the truth will be known and all secrets uncovered. Okay, maybe he looks a little too hard sometimes. Davy never lets his guard down though because...
you never know what might be coming around the corner.
Or fuck it, just follow that guy into his basement, who cares? When a string of recent disappearances turns out to be a serial killer, Davy and his friends are on the case and will leave no stone unturned. But will these amateur detectives have what it takes to stop more kids from disappearing? Can they avoid being grounded? And most importantly, who watches the Watchmen? And now it's time for a little bit of the ultra-violence. Just when I started to get over my childhood fear of clowns instilled by killer clowns from outer space comes Terrifier. It's Halloween night and it's time to party, but friends don't let friends drink and drive. Well, maybe you should if this guy's watching you. After realizing that he probably freaked them out, Art the Clown follows these ladies to a late-night pizza joint to reassure them that he isn't crazy. Yep, that definitely did it. You probably shouldn't let friends drink and clown either. There's a good final Instagram pic for you. Suddenly sobered up, the girls decide it's time to go home after all. Oh no, some random hoodlums slashed their tires and one of them needs to pee. This creepy abandoned building sounds like the perfect place for a little bladder relief. Oh, and probably murder. Terrifier definitely isn't for the squeamish. Did I mention the ultra-violence? Art the Clown really creeps me out. I would rather French kiss Pennywise than deal with this shit. Don't forget to carve your face a lantern this Halloween. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if Superman was raised in a different country? Check out the Superman Red Sun comic, which has an upcoming animated movie. Have you also wondered what it would be like if he just didn't give a shit about Earth at all? Brightburn is the answer. The Bryars have been praying and banging for a baby of their own, but have not had any luck as of yet. Until boom, prayer answered. Now they have a son sent from the heavens that definitely won't be evil. They hope. Now Brandon is at that age where his body is changing and crashed spaceships that are hidden in the barn are calling out to him in a demonic voice. Puberty. Alien puberty is a little different though. On top of some extra hair and voice changing, Brandon gets super strength. We're gonna need a new lawnmower. And don't forget super angry attitude. Kid's got quite the grip there. What are you feeding him? The more Brandon lashes out, the more worried his parents get, because how can you send evil Superman to his room if he doesn't want to play along? It will take more than a slap on the wrist to stop him from taking the world. At least he doesn't have eye lasers. The only problem with catching up on movies after they've been out for a couple of years is no one's talking about them anymore. Hopefully I found a couple horror movies you haven't seen yet. If I missed some, please let me know about it in the comments section. Alas, it's time to slither back into the depths and let the movies pile up. When there are enough to do another video, I just may emerge again.